All right. So welcome, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me. I always love to start off by giving people an opportunity to introduce themselves. So who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? Wait a minute.
Yes.
I'm Lisa. I'm Lisa. I'm originally from California, but I've spent the last 10 years living in Madrid, Spain. So I call it my home. It's a wonderful country. I recommend it to everyone. If you're looking to move somewhere and you don't know where to live in Spain, I highly recommend it. And what I do is, I have like multiple things that I work on. But my main focus right now is my personal branding and career strategy for executives and entrepreneurs. But not only that, I specifically work with spiritual women in business. So I have my business coaching for spiritual female entrepreneurs, but really the main thing that I do is the personal branding and career strategy for spiritual women who are looking to harness the power of their personal brand to reach their career goals. So if we say, okay, I want to have a TED talk, I want to have a book deal, I want to, I don't know, what's something that leaders and ambitious women want. I don't know.
More opportunities. I want to be on boards. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be on boards. I want to have speaking gigs, and I want to be a global leader, and I want people to listen to my voice and listen to my message and listen to my ideas. So I help them form a strategic plan to get there, essentially.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I also love how you focus on this also spiritual aspect. Can you talk a little bit more about what that's about?
Absolutely. So it's a very integral part of what I do. That's actually the foundation that I have is actually the foundation of spirituality in whatever form that takes for you. It can be through religion, it can be through being in nature, it can be through meditation. It's whatever spirituality means to you, because spirituality is just getting in touch with the soul, however, whatever form that takes. So once you have that, I always think of it kind of like a little pyramid. So once you have the pyramid of the spirituality, then the next level is wellness. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not taking care of your mind and your body, um, the rest of it, there's just, if you can't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of others, and you definitely can't take care of your business. So if you're not eating well, if you're not sleeping well, if you're not just practicing self care, everyone around you suffers, you suffer, your business suffers, and it's not a healthy way to approach things. So for me, I have a more holistic way of doing things. So we have the foundation of spirituality, which also includes human design, so knowing your human design type. We talk about wellness, making sure that you take time during the day, so you're not just sitting down at a computer and then 6 hours later you go, where did my time go? No, we've taken breaks, we've taken gratitude breaks, we've gone outside for 15 minutes. We've had some hot lemon water. We've taken our Fitbit steps. So yeah, and then we focus on the business. And then, yeah, and then obviously once you start generating the income, then we also focus on, wealth mindset and where to invest, because I'm also an investor as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No, I
what I do.
love. Yeah. And I love how you integrate all those pieces because a lot of times when we're busy or distracted or overwhelmed, it's really easy to miss those two first steps.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you're reminding people and helping people build routines
Yes.
and habits that will allow them to succeed in their business because they've taken the time to fulfill themselves inside first, right? Before sort of trying to give to others.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a conscious cultivation of a lifestyle built around your business rather than having a business or having a career and trying to fit your lifestyle around it. So there's a lot of they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail when they talk about writing a business plan. But the same is true with your life. You have to have a vision for your life. You have to have a vision for what your ideal day looks like. That's actually a visualization that I do with my clients as I do I think it's actually the first activity that we do. It's called Life by Design. And we say, okay, where do you see yourself 3 years from now? What does your ideal day look like? What do you do when you wake up? And then we construct the step-by-step plan and the blueprint to get you there. And then it's something with branding. We say, okay, what do you want? What is, when we do the personal branding sessions, we say, okay, what is your goal from your personal brand? Because there's if I remember, there were like six areas that I ask about, and then I say, okay, well, which one is most important? And then we start focusing on that. We say, okay, what are the activities that you need to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis to get you there?
Yeah, no, I think that's key. That taking that step to pause, to reflect, and to imagine, because I think that's what stops a lot of us. Because we haven't seen it on our own lives or seen it from people around us, we very much are like, it's not possible.
Right. Yes. And that's mindset, which is another thing that I work on, because you'd be so surprised. You can give two different people the exact same strategies, the exact same tactics, but if they have a different mindset, one of them is going to succeed and one of them is going to fail. So actually, after we do the visualization, mindset is the second thing we talk about. But yeah, you are absolutely right in that you have to have the correct mindset in order to succeed. You
Yeah.
can't just have the motivation and the drive and the desire to meet your goals. You have to have the right mindset. And then, yeah, exactly. That's one of the ways that we learn is we learn three ways. We learn through what we see from our parents, growing up. We learn through what we hear from society, what we're told, and we learn through what we experience. So if, let's say you tried to let's say that you're trying to use Haro to get PR opportunities. If you submitted a pitch to Haro and you never heard back, if your mindset goes, oh, well, I'm not going to try again. But no, you have to say, I am determined, because grit, there's a wonderful TED talk about this. Grit is the determining factor in whether or not people succeed. It's not talent, it's not connections. Connections help, obviously. But really, it's grit. It's when you fall down, what do? Do you get back up or do you stay down? And that all comes back to mindset. And if you learned from your parents or your family or your friends or the people in your environment, which is why it's so important to surround yourself with high vibration people who are either where you are or where you want to be. But is why I think we get along so well. We're very similar.
Yeah. Can you maybe explain this idea of vibrations? Because there might be some people who are listening to this or watching this and they don't necessarily understand. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So this is going a little bit into the woo, a little bit into the spirituality, but essentially, but if you're a spiritual executive, this will be right up your alley. So essentially, if you think about the law of attraction, if you've ever watched The Secret, if you think about manifestation, it all comes down to the same theory, which is that we all are we're all energy, and we all different energies vibrate at a different frequency. So people who have attained enlightenment, like the Dalai Lama, his energy is very different than someone who's very angry, like Donald Trump, right? They have very different energies. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And but that's because the Dalai Lama is vibrating at you always want to be aiming for vibrating at love and above. So there's the vibration of love. There's above that is the vibration of joy, laughter, happiness. Okay. So if you're a really happy person, you're vibrating there. Peace, which is calm, feeling tranquility, and that goes back to having the foundations of the spirituality and the wellness, so that you're calm and you make decisions from a calm, rational, peaceful place. And then obviously enlightenment, which not everyone gets to experience, but the goal of spirituality is to experience that in whatever way it comes to you. So, and the lower end of the spectrum are things like shame, guilt, anger, um, non-acceptance of things. So, for example, Donald Trump is a very angry person. So he vibrates at a lower frequency because he's very negative. He has a lot of negative energy. Um, Someone like the Dalai Lama is vibrating, or just take like who's the happiest person that you know?
I can think of off the top of my head. Who's the happiest? I don't know. I'm just like, that's pretty happy. I mean, I feel like Dalai Lama, that's like, I mean, I feel like that's a really good way to sort of
Yeah.
help us
Okay.
see it, right? Because they're so polarized,
Right.
right, in terms of like how they come across.
Exactly. Yeah, they are very polarizing, but it's because they're so at opposite ends of the energetic. If you just look it up, it's called emotional vibration spectrum. It'll show you a little chart. It's rainbow colored, with basically purple at the top is what, according to spirituality, that's where we're all trying to get to, which is to be able to love and be generous from that sort of God-like space. So, Muslims call it Allah, Christians and Jews call it God. In Hinduism, it's called the supreme being. Buddhism is more like it's about the self, like it's actually within you to achieve that type of consciousness. But everybody's talking about the same thing. and so that's why the universal theme of religions is God is love. No matter where you go, they always say God is love. So the way that translates to more our lives is that, let's say you go somewhere, and this also goes back to mindset. Let's say you, Akua, you say Akua Matata. So let's say that you go to your friend
Mhm.
who is kind of like a negative person, and you say, I'm going to become an executive coach. So you're excited, right? You're vibrating at joy, happiness, excitement. And they go, well, why would you do that? Right? They're vibrating from a place of doubt and negativity.
Mhm.
And so that like drags you down, you know? Whereas if you go to a different friend and their response is, oh, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, tell me how I can help you. That person is vibrating from a place of excitement, love, generosity, right? So our mindset is determined by the people that we surround ourselves with, the people that we grew up with. And like you were saying, so many people grow up with parents who are fearful, who are doubtful, who are, they do have shame. Um, so yes, you have to be very careful about who you surround yourself with, because as they say, you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so if the 5 people that you spend the most time with are just complainers, and they're not doers, and they're not leaders, or they don't have the desire to be that way, find new friends.
Yeah,
Sorry.
or really think about like, or start to think a little bit more intentionally about the impact they might be having, right, on your life.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. It's about being intentional with the life that you want to create, because that's exactly what it is. We're all artists, and we all paint on the blank canvas of our life. So it's true. So if you wake up tomorrow and you say, you know what, I want to do this, you are unstoppable, because the only person that's not letting you do that is you. So we do a lot of mindset work, and it's really funny because the people that I work with on the outside, they're very successful. Uh, and then when you talk to them, they go, yeah, but I'm kind of scared to get visible online. And I say, okay, so we dig deeper, and I say, okay, but why? And they'll say things like, well, I don't want people to think that I'm arrogant, or I don't want people to judge me or criticize me. But that's the thing, that like, that's their problem. If people are going to criticize you, that's their issue. That's not yours. You're going to be living your fabulous life, doing the things that you want to do, making your dreams come true. And they can keep complaining about stuff. That's their choice.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. I love that. That whole metaphor of like painting your own life. And for me, that's one of the things that I've had to, I guess, think a little bit more about. I remember just very much feeling like a victim, like things just happen to me. This is the best I can do. This is just who I am. Which is really, for me, when I think back to that, I was like, wow, that really is not very much like me, right? There was a time, very much growth mindset. Then,
Yes.
I think it's probably when I was looking for opportunities and nothing seemed to stick. I was very much like, victim. And then once I got past that, very much back to this growth mindset. I mean, what I do, right, is very much helping people like think through like how can I build my growth mindset,
Yes.
and think about these mindset issues and thinking about I don't always use the word necessarily vibration, but yes, thinking about how different emotions or different feelings really will change your behavior and whatever results that you get ultimately as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, no, I know growth mindset is key. You can either have a fixed mindset or you can have a growth mindset, because if you have a fixed mindset, it's that external locus of control. I'm the victim. Things happen to me. I can't, excuses, but you're not going to create the life that you love with a fixed mindset. But if you have a growth mindset, you have an internal locus of control and you say, I create my destiny. I decide what happens to me. I'm not saying the world is a perfect place, obviously not. But even if you can't control external events, you can, in a way, control putting yourself in that situation in the first place. But if for some reason something bad does happen to you, because bad things have happened to all of us, bad things have happened to you, bad things have happened to me, you choose how you react to them. And then also a big thing with growth mindset, because yeah, girl, I'm all about that growth mindset. Like that's my jam. But the thing with growth mindset is that you're always looking to grow. You're always looking to learn. And when you know better, you do better. So that's what it comes down to. Just, are you going to stay stuck where you are? Or are you going to evolve?
Yeah, no, I
Go
think
for dreams. Why not? We have one life. Why not do what you want to do?
exactly, exactly. And I think this, for me, this sounds like a really great segue to sort of talk about how you ended up in Spain. Was it a dream? Was it like about this idea of designing the life that you wanted?
So it's a 10-year story that I will try to condense. So let's see. All right. So I'm going to look at the timer to make sure to just make sure that I don't go like super long in this.
There's time.
Okay. So born in California, first generation American. My family's from Belize. So I studied actually opera. I studied music. So I used to be an opera singer. And when you study music as your major, and so voice was my instrument. And when you study music as your major, you have to be in choir all 4 years of college. So I was in choir. And we, the summer between my junior year and my senior year, we did a choir tour around Europe. So we went to Austria, we sang in the Salzburg Cathedral, we went to the Czech Republic. It was my first time ever going to Prague. It was really my first time in Europe. We went to Germany, we went to Berlin. We visited a former concentration camp. I started bawling. It was a very powerful, life-changing experience. And a shift and understanding and realization that I had was that I don't know why in the United States, but I had always felt like I didn't belong, because there were so many things that I didn't understand, so many things I didn't agree with, and so many mentalities that I was just like, I don't get it. And so, and this was when I was 20. So when I got to Europe for the first time, I said, oh, it's not that I've been wrong, it's that I've been in the wrong place for 20 years. So I said, okay, I'm going to come back. I'm going to make my life here, settle. Um, Went back to the US, finished my degree, spent a year actually living in Italy and then working as a tour guide, taking backpackers around Europe. And that's when I went to Spain for the first time. I went to Barcelona, love Barcelona. And then did my master's at Northwestern, was doing opera for a while, lived in New York for a while. And then when it came to time for my 30th birthday, I had decided that I was going to move to Paris. So I said, okay, well, it's time. I'm 30. It's time to go to Europe to settle there. And I went for New Year's just to spend like 10 days, because it had been 7 years since I'd last been to Paris. That was one of the cities that I used to give tours in as a tour guide. And I still loved it. I still thought it was the most beautiful place that I'd ever seen. It still had that wonderful feeling of like luxury and just culture and history. And it's just Paris is, have you been to Paris?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's like nowhere else on earth, you know? So there's a very Parisian part of my soul. But it was so cold and snowy because it was January. It's like, I was like, girl, I'm from California. And then we lived in Florida. And, you know, I was in Chicago for 5 years and I was in New York for 3 years. I was like, no, I can't, like, I could see myself as a little old lady walking in the streets of Paris, but I don't want to be cold the rest of my life. So I had spent 6 weeks backpacking through Spain, you know, previously. And I was like, let me go to Spain because my sort of soul homes are Italy, France, and Spain. Like I could spend all of my time speaking French or speaking Italian or you know, just in Spain. And I chose Spain because the French, I adore them. And I have a lot of French friends, but as a society, it's very closed. And there's a lot of unwritten rules that if you don't grow up there, you're always kind of behind, right? You always feel like an outsider. And I did not want to feel like an outsider in the place that I'm going to make my home. Italy, I love. It's one of my soul homes, but Italians are crazy in a good way, but just maybe not great for long term. So I will go to Italy on vacation. I will go to Rome. I will actually, and I lived in Rome for 6 months. I will go to Rome. I will go to Capri. I will go to, you know, Lake Como, Venice. Like, you want to hop on a plane? Let's go. But living there, dealing with the bureaucracy, all that stuff. So it was like for me. So it was kind of like a sliding scale. So it's like Italians were on like the crazy end, and French people are on the like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to talk to you. And right in the middle is Spain, which is a country where it's sunny and warm most of the year. We're on a peninsula, so we're surrounded by beaches. So beaches are very important to me because I grew up in California. And yeah, so 2 hours, you hop on a train, you're at the beach. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to Spain because the people are very warm, they are very open, and I can be myself in Spain. So I don't know if you've seen the TikTok video they have, but like I started taking like the Sevillanas class and like doing all that stuff. And the food, you know, I was just having lunch and I was eating pulpo, which is a dish that they have here in Spain that they don't eat in the US. And yeah, I love it. And I just, the 6 weeks that I was backpacking here, I loved Spain. It's just a really, I guess the word that I would use to describe the country, if you were to describe France as a person, it's like a sophisticated woman.
Okay.
If you were to describe, there's a branding. If you were to describe Italy as a person, it's I think different people would describe Italy differently, but for me, it's like a really like energetic man named Giovanni, you know. And if you were to describe Spain as a person, it's like your cool, fun friend. And that really appealed to me because I wanted a place to make my home, to call my home, where I could be comfortable, where I could be myself. And that's totally what it's been. And it's been 10 years and I'm so happy. It's the best decision that I've ever made.
I love that. I love also how you like have thought about, you know, putting these personal traits on these different cities as well. I think that's awesome. And I know one thing that's also really important to you, in addition to like shaping, you know, the space that you're in and sort of curating this environment, is also giving back.
Yes.
And I think that we had a conversation not long ago a bit about how that's even part of your business as well.
Yes. So, yeah, because I read, I don't know if you've ever read Giving by Bill Clinton. So I read it many, many, many years ago. And essentially, because when most people think of giving or philanthropy or charity or whatever you want to call it, they assume it's giving money. But the thing is, you can give much more than money. These are my words. This is in the book. But basically, there's 5 ways to give. I can usually only remember 4. But you can give time, you can give money, you can give knowledge, You can give skills, and then whatever number 5 was, I don't remember. But yeah, so that's essentially what I do with my business is I donate 10% of profits to NGOs that I believe in. So Acumen Fund, which is an impact investment fund based in New York. I've met the founder, Jacqueline, because I used to work for the CAO of the company as her assistant. And when I lived in New York. I also really believe in with everything that's happening right now. I think it's really important to support the NAACP as well as Black Girls Code. So those are the 3 organizations that I donate my money to, but obviously I'm open to other opportunities. And a friend and I, we eventually want to start an investment fund that has an impact investing portfolio. So, because there are so many wonderful causes out there that help so many people. You know, that's why I love Acumen, is because the founder, Jacqueline, she used to be a Wall Street banker, and she essentially took the strategies of making money on Wall Street and applied it towards an impact investment fund. So they brought power to millions of people in rural Pakistan. And it goes back to the, because their goal is to eliminate poverty, which is obviously one of the Millennium Development Goals. And it goes back to Dr. Jeffrey Sachs. He wrote a book called The End of Poverty. And he talks about how, you know, so many people around the world, there's different rungs on the ladder of economic development, but some people are here, so they can't even get on the first rung. So if you don't have electricity, you can't get on the internet. So even if you have a growth mindset, you know, you don't have access to the internet to take free online courses, or, you know, if there's not a library for 100 miles or 100 kilometers, you don't have access to knowledge. You know, if you're not allowed to go to school, or if there isn't a school, right? So it's like you're disadvantaged just from where you're starting. And Warren Buffett actually talks about this. He gave a wonderful interview. I don't remember the whole thing, but he said, well, I won't go into it, but he talked about this, and it was like, yeah, that's really true. You know, what he was basically saying, what would you want the rules of the world to be if you woke up tomorrow, but you had no control over where you were born, what gender you were, you know, all of those things that we take for granted. You know, we were so blessed in that, you know, I know that I won the geographic lottery by being born in the United States to an upper middle class family. I know that, you know, not everybody is so lucky. So, and Warren Buffett actually talks about this. So he was like, you know, how would you set up the rules of the world if you had no choice, right? So yeah, so giving back is very important to me. So yeah, so I donate 10% of the profits to those 3 organizations. I donate 10% of my time. So I actually teach entrepreneurship to immigrant women. Most of them are located here in Madrid, but we do it through Zoom. So we have a woman in South America as well. There's about 8 ladies in my group. And then I donate 10% of my knowledge because I have a group coaching program for spiritual female entrepreneurs. So we have scholarships.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, if someone was interested in learning a little bit more about what you do, how could they get in touch?
Well, I mean, email me is the best way, or connect with me on LinkedIn, or send me a message on Instagram. Because of branding, my branding is more on LinkedIn, and my business coaching is on Instagram. So because it's a little confusing. People say, well, is she a branding coach or is she a business coach? And the thing is, I do a little bit of both.
I think they both are needed interchangeably, right? Especially for those of us who are service providers, your brand is really key to who you're able to attract. And what we'll do is I'll make sure that I put links in the comments or the description for all of those.
Yeah. But basically, you can find me on social at Lisa Mariette Co. So LisaMariette, and then Co, like company or consulting.
All right, great. Yeah. Anything else you want to share, or sorry, go ahead.
That's a branding tip. Make sure your handle is the same on all your social channels, eh?
There you go. Yeah. Something I've been trying to do.
In the words of Yoda, there is no try. There is either do or do not.
I think
So,
for me, it's the same on Twitter and Instagram.
girl, get it sorted now.
All right, I'll look into it.
No, do not look into it. Do.
I will do it.
Action,
Yeah,
action,
I'll do it. Excuse me. All right. I really have to drink some water, sorry.
Grab some water, yeah.
Wow.
Are you okay?
Not sure what I was choking on. I was so excited about the branding tip, I guess. Just went straight
You're like,
I guess one thing maybe we can leave everyone with is any other branding or career tips. I think having similar handles, I think that's a really great tip that not many people think about, right? And making sure, especially on LinkedIn, that you're eliminating those additional like numbers and letters and things like that. Any last tip to leave people with?
Yes. I think the most important thing with this is just a fundamental thing, whether it's for your business, whether it's for your brand, or really just any type of interaction that you have with anyone is you have to be who you are. And the word authentic gets thrown around so much, so I'm not going to use that word. I will instead say, be who you are, because the people who love you will absolutely love you. And the people who don't love you, they're not for you. And as our favorite marketing guru, Seth Godin, has to say, all you need is your 1,000 raving fans. If you can get your 1,000 raving fans that are willing to buy and do whatever it is that you put out there on the market, you never have to worry about your business. So that's why, you know, when you see those people on Instagram, because I do digital marketing, so I look at, you know, when I look at accounts, I'm like, you've got 100,000 followers, but there's 3 likes. So I'm like, you purchase those followers and your account just looks not real, and girl, you need help, you know. no, no judgment, but a little bit of judgment. Some people are just misguided, we'll say. So yeah, so just be yourself. Quality is always better than quantity. That's with relationships, it's with your business, it's with everything. Just be yourself, and that is your superpower.
I love it. I think that's a really great way to end. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Lisa. As always, it's tons of fun to talk. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.